Hello all, welcome to Mokopedia. In today's session, we'll cover the topic reading comprehension. So let us get started. Whenever we talk about reading comprehension, generally we don't want to read the whole, rather we want to get straight away to the answer, and we want we can say the trick that how can we directly assess the answer. So to simply understand it, let us consider that you want to get from point A to point B, and you want to get to the point B but you don't want to walk. So asking for a tip or trick for reading comprehension, just directly answering the question, is similar to reaching to point B without just walking. So still, if there is anything that we can do in reading comprehension, we'll try to cover. But before that, let us understand what it demands from us. So reading comprehension, as I have already told, just practice, and there are different resources you can use, right? If you are in some technical course, or if you are preparing some exams, as per your interest, as per your requirements, you can try, you can read some article online, you can read some blogs. If you are preparing for some other things, then you can read newspaper. Why? Because when you do this, it is quite possible that you might find the paragraph in the same paragraph that you have read online or offline in your test, because that is how we find paragraphs in our test. So you need to practice, and if practice helps you building a habit, then it is worth building, right? So make sure you need to practice and try to try to try to learn and try to develop a habit out of it, right? So practice. And other than that, what other points we can keep in mind are: the first question that comes, the so-called tip or trick, should we go for passage first or question first? So yes, it appears that if we have the idea of a question, it becomes easier because our mind is focused, energy, the right energy is there, that we need to look for this type of a word. When we are clear with the question, we, our mind and our eyes, look for the keyword that we have read in the question, the same keyword in the passage. So question first or passage first? Yes, question first, definitely. But when there are multiple questions, so again you have to read the question again and again, this will also result in wastage of time. So what to do? So before attempting any question, so since you are given a passage and along that you have a first question, read that question and then go for the passage. Start with the cursory reading. Do not just, do not go slow and invest a lot of time there. Just start with cursory reading of the text and try to get a generic idea, try to get the idea what the passage is about, what how many speakers are there, what the condition is, what is the tone. Try to get the idea. Is it about some problem? Is it about some is it that somebody is complaining something? Is it about somebody is praising something? Try to get the generic idea, right? And as soon as you are little familiar, then keeping the question in mind, read it carefully and try to locate the answer in your passage, right? And also when you are reading, it's a good practice to mark word, right? To mark words there. So if you are reading a passage, that means like we have a passage like this, and if you are reading it, we'll also do one practice session based on what we are doing, what we are going through now. But whatever I'm telling you, just keep this in mind. Mark down important words that this you have read, you find it is important and it might get a mention in some question, so mark down that, right? Just highlight that or do some other thing. Or if you have a paper, write down on the paper that this is what you have read somewhere, right? As you read along, for instance, if there are important dates, mark them, right? Because it becomes easier to spot them. And also when you mark, your mind keep tracks. So let us understand, if you have read a passage which is unseen to you, unknown to you, will you be able to will you be able to memorize the whole passage? Of course not. So how can you locate that this is something I read before this and this is something which came later than this? So that is why we need to mark down some important words, right? So they can be dates, they can be some names of some places, they can be some words which you find very difficult. Just mark down them, right? So that you can keep track that where you read something, right? So where is what is where, right? This is what we have to do. Then what else can we do in this? So since you do not have to apply your own knowledge, the most important thing, whatever is there in the passage, just read that. Just read that. Whatever is there in the passage, just read that. If you have some prior knowledge of that particular topic, just ignore that for a while. Read the passage, and whatever is there in the passage, read that. Because whatever you have the knowledge of the that particular topic, the passage could be contrary to that, the passage could be the criticism to that, the passage could be the praise of that. So you do not know, so do not apply your knowledge. Whatever is there in the passage, read that, right? Identify the keywords, again identify, mark them, right, which will help you locate the answer. And if there persists any confusion, don't worry, try to read the introduction again. This will give you idea what the passage is about, and also the conclusion. So it will create a summary, it will create a picture in your mind, right? This will help you do well in your reading comprehension, right? Let us again go through one by one. Whenever you have a passage, the only thing is to practice. And how can you practice? You need to have a habit of reading, and that can be your newspaper, that can be your articles, could be some blogs that you follow, right? You need to invest that time there. This will help you. Otherwise there is no other way than reading which will help you, is the ability or the trick to solve the reading comprehension. There is no chance. You just have to invest time there. And when you invest the time, after some practice sets, you will realize that you now require less time than the time you required earlier, right? So practice and go with the cursory reading. Get familiar with the idea, get familiar with the tone of the author. Also, when you are reading, mark down important words which you find. Ask yourself question: if the passage is about this, what can author write down below? What other things author can produce, right? So mark important words. If possible, if you don't have any provision for marking down them, write in the paper that you have with you, right? Important dates are there which will help you locate the lines where you've read something important about the passage, right? Do these things. If you find anything problem, if there is anything confusing, read the introduction, conclusion, which will help you get the summary of the passage with you, right? And the most important thing, do not write something on your own based on your own knowledge. Everything is there in the passage. You don't have to generate anything from anywhere. Read, 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 you will get the answers. And leaving any question unattended in reading comprehension is not a permissible, or it is just useless to do that, because these are these are free marks that you have with you, because you don't require any knowledge for that. It is just that you have to read, and based on your reading you have to attempt them, right? I hope this is clear to you. Thanks for watching.